Okay, anyway, we can start. Waiting for my PowerPoint. Albert and myself, we had a small change, but no, yes, we were speaking about, why not I speak about Italy and you speak about Portugal. But okay, let's wait for the right PowerPoints. Let me tell you that it's a great pleasure to be here. I will try to tell you what is my opinion regarding regulation of water services, the main principles, the main problems, the main questions, and also a little bit about the Portuguese regulator. I left the regulator 2 years ago after 12 years, but I will tell you about a little bit about the model we use. Good, fantastic, very well. So let me start with this. What are the main problems we face at international level? Now we can say, namely the regulators has in front of them those UN Sustainable Development Goals. And as you know, they are the new agenda for humanity for 2030. To end poverty, to promote prosperity and well-being, to protect the environment and fight climate change. And with that, about 200 countries around the world share a common vision about water as a big priority. And those goals are applicable not only to developing countries, but also for developed countries. It's not bidding, but United Nations will monitor that. So we will have indicators, and the results of those indicators, I hope, every year regarding all the countries. So it's a way to, it's not bidding, but it's a way that push countries in that direction. Well, in those 17 goals, we have one, number 6, regarding water and sanitation. Speaking about drinking water, sanitation and hygiene, which is wash, but also water quality, water use efficiency, integrated water resource management and water-related ecosystems, which is integrated water resource management, and still international cooperation and capacity building and participation of local communities. If you see that, goal 6, but you see also all the other 16 goals, you can find that you have there the problem to comply with that goal 6, but also the problem to understand the links of that goal with all the others. And you can find links with all the others. And you need to know, and the regulators need to know how to deal with those links, which is not easy. It's a very good exercise to understand what's the link between water and poverty, or water and jobs, water and gender, energy, or gender, whatever. So it's an additional challenge we have. But we still have other important references like human rights, in water and sanitation from United Nations, the Paris Agreement about climate change, and also the 12 principles of water governance from OECD. So the question is how to deal with that, with those challenges, and my answer is, well, we try to write that answer in this document, which is the Lisbon Charter. Lisbon Charter is a document approved by the International Water Association 1 year ago. It's dedicated to public policy and regulation of drinking water supply, sanitation, and wastewater. And the main goal of this document is try to give the opinion of the International Water Association regarding the sound public policies on water we need and the effective regulation we need. This document is in English, Portuguese, French, Mandarin, but I think it's now also in Chinese, in Spanish, and other languages. And if you go through these documents, you can find the principles that we need to follow, and we can find the responsibilities of each kind of stakeholder. Which is the role of government, which is the goal of regulatory authority, which is the goal of the other public administration, what is the role of the water utilities, and about the users. Everything is there as a proposal. In principles, just to give you an idea, for sure, water services are essential for sustainable development. the provision of water service should preserve accountability and transparency. Service provision should take into account financial, social, environmental aspects, and relies on collaborative actions of all the, let's say, stakeholders. And regarding regulation should be part of the public policy. We need to have all the contributions with clear objectives and real instruments for action to ensure an integrated regulatory approach. I will go in detail later. To ensure an adequate level of institutional, functional and financial independence of the regulator. We can go deeper later. Provide separation between technical and political dimensions. Ensure accountability and public scrutiny of the activity of the regulator. Promote the constitution of competitive markets, and you know we are speaking about monopolies, so it's not so easy. Like you know, in UK, you tried a lot. Foster a culture of complying standards and good practice, and contribute to the modernization of the public administration. So we have here two challenges, public policy and regulation. How to deal with the first one, public policy? Well, in my view, public policy is not a vague term, but a very clear concept saying you have a public policy in water services in your country. If you have a good strategic plan, that means you know what you want. You have a good legal framework, a good institutional framework, well-defined governance models. They can be public or private, whatever, but well-defined. Targets, for sure, quality of service, tariff policy, tax policy, financial resources, and how to manage that. Construction of infrastructures, for sure, operation, human resources, research and innovation, entrepreneurship, competition, consumer protection, social engagement, ethics and integrity, and information. If you can deal with all those blocks in the right way, you have a sound public policy. This is holistic. If you have only 2 or 3 blocks, you will fail, for sure. Money is important, but it's nothing if you have not good laws, good institutions, good strategy, and so on and so on. And about regulation, how to implement it? Well, regulation, in that set of blocks, regulation is one component. In the block of institutional tools, regulation is important block. That red piece over there. The important thing is that piece, regulation, is very important because with that piece you can promote and you can control more or less all the other components of the public policy. So you have a good regulation, the public policy can work. If you fail in regulation, it will be much more difficult. So effective regulation is essential, but take care, fragile regulation can be a big problem, and it is a big problem in many countries. What's the responsibility of the regulatory authority? Compliance with the legislation and existing contracts, supervise the application of tariff systems, promote quality of service, quality of drinking water. In UK, for instance, through different organizations, in Portugal with some organizations, it's not important. The regulator, all them together must do that. Competition, clarity of rules, information, very, very important, research and innovation, and also to have the power to apply penalties. And that's why in the world, a lot of new regulators are appearing every year. We had just a few in the past. 10 or 15 years ago, there was 3 in Europe. Now they are about 30 or something. In the world, they are, in this moment, about 170. And you can see in different continents. And those regulators are now creating regional networks, like in Europe, in South America, like in Africa, and so on. And also creating international platforms to discuss those common problems. But we have a lot of questions to answer in each country, because each country is a different problem regarding regulation. Questions like regulation must be independent or not. What that means, what level of independence? Regulation must be sectorial or multi-sectorial, only for water and wastewater, or together with solid waste, with energy, with transports, whatever. It must operate at national, regional, or local level. In my opinion, national or even regional, but never at local. Regulate all the utilities or just private? For me, is for sure, all them, private or not private, all them need regulation. It's a big mistake to introduce regulation only for private operators, in my opinion, for sure. To be more hard or more soft. You, Catherine, you are more hard, I'm more soft, two different ways to approach, but both can work very well, in my opinion, okay? But you need to decide. To have an integrated, holistic approach, to say, well, I will take care about tariffs, but how do you only? But how can you take care of tariffs if you don't know quality of service, or even water quality, or even the contracts, whatever? So you need to have an integrated approach. And how to link with the other sectorial regulators like competition, environmental health, and so on. It's not easy, but it's important. Include legal and contractual regulation in your activity? Yes, in my opinion. And economic regulation? Yes. Legal bidding? Yes, in my opinion, but it can be different. Include quality of service? For sure. Drinking water quality? Also. Consumers interface regulation? Yes. Contribute to organizational sector? I think yes. Contribute to the legislation of sector? Yes. And to the information of sector? Yes, essential. Contribute to capacity building? We do that in Portugal. Being a promoter or a barrier to innovation? Very important. You need to get the balance between those two danger areas. You start being too much or imposing too much rules, and so innovation do not start. It's a bad role for the regulator. Give the citizen full access of information. I agree. Yeah. In Portugal, what we have, independent regulator, ERSAR. Note that we have in the autonomous islands of Azores a small regulator because they have autonomy, but which is, let's say, a small ERSAR there. That's why the name is ERSAR from Azores, but it's an independent body. Operating at national level regarding mainland, regulating foreign utilities, all them, state-owned, municipal-owned and private operators, adopting a collaborative and pedagogic regulation. I like as the better model for my country, but for other countries can be different way. Staff about 70 people, a budget of 10 million, and cost for society less than 1% regarding the average tariff or average bill. It's our target to be in this moment 0.7% of the bill. What kind of model? Dealing with structural regulation of all sector, contributing to the organization, the legislation, the information and capacity building, but also watching each utility itself, behavioral regulation, regarding legal and contractual compliance, regarding economic regulation for sure, regarding quality of service, water quality, and consumers interface. In my opinion, positive impacts of an independent regulators. It's a powerful tool to promote the effective public policy decided by government, not by the regulator for sure. Because when I speak about independent regulator, independent do not mean independent from everything. We need to clarify that, okay? So we have a public policy, and in framework of that public policy, regulation is a powerful tool. Promote and control the component of debt policy, promotes short, medium, long-term technical approach instead of short-term political approach, decreasing political influence in the sector, guaranteeing stability across time, and stability is very, very important in this sector, namely for investors and for everybody, let's say. Guarantees harmonization in sector, for instance, levels of quality of service, levels of methodologies to calculate tariffs and so on. Guarantee more transparency and more involvement of the citizens, but also to introduce optimization of the efficiency and effectiveness and sustainability and social sensitivity in sector, to guarantee that those public services respond to the strategic objectives of the country, to assure a good balance between different powers, to contribute to legal certainty of the stakeholders. The legislation is stable. We made a package of legislation in '94, and we made a new one in 2009, and I hope we will stay several years with same stable legislation. This is important. To have effective accountability tools to guarantee better public perception about those problems of tariffs and governance and the quality of service and so on. To secure future investments regarding aging infrastructures, to address increased resilience problems, namely facing the new challenge we have, climate change and so on. Do we have any negative aspect, perhaps? Decrease of political influence in the sector. I believe it's not a negative impact, but we need to think about that. Effective accountability tools. If we have not that, we cannot have a real regulator who regulates the regulator. It involves cost for society. 1 minute, okay? In summary, regulation can be an excellent tool to promote a public policy, but the success depends on the ability to ensure effective regulation in an integrated approach with all those components, in my opinion. And setting up a regulatory authority is a very complex process and needs a sound and careful approach. Take care. In Spain, if you want a regulator, I agree. It will be a fantastic option, but take care with the regulator. You need to take time to create a sound, good regulator. Because I do believe that worse than do not having a regulator is to have a bad regulator. It's not bad, it's a disaster. So have a good regulator. Well, just to finish, what happened in those 20 years in Portugal with the public policy and the regulation? And also money, and also a lot of skilled people. We moved in water supply in 20 years from 81 to 95% of population covered. In drinking water, see that, 50% to 90, in this moment 99, last figure, 99%. Not so well, but trying to do well. Okay, in 20 years, moving from half to almost 100%. Disease is decreasing. For instance, hepatitis, we have no more. Wastewater increasing with treatment, as you see, more than 80% in this moment. Water quality solid waste increasing a lot. Water quality in the rivers increasing. Water quality in the coastal area waters increasing. Water quality in the river beaches increasing a lot. Blue flags, a lot of them, about 300 now. We had only 90. And information to consumers, just as my last slide. In Portugal, we have and you can do that in this room. You can access the app from ERSAR and say, I'm living in, for instance, Lisbon or Sintra or Porto. Tell me in detail for who is my utility on water and wastewater and solid waste. And tell me in detail, for instance, I'm living in Sintra, it's a nice place to live. Okay, tell me exactly in detail all the indicators from last year from that utility. Are they green? Fantastic. Or yellow? Well, red I do not like. And I will tell to my mayor, you need to do better, best. This is done by the regulator. This is a powerful tool from the regulator to promote quality. So I believe Portugal is a nice case study with a lot of successes, but also mistakes, and we can tell you the mistakes. And thank you very much for your attention.